In this video, I'm going to show you some seashells. These seashells were found in southern England, round and about Bournemouth. Going to have tried to identify some of these, but not 100%, but still wanted to show you how pretty they are, for want of a better description, how nice and interesting. So without further ado, the first group will be here in a moment. Just got to grab them. So if you hold on just there, I'll be back in 2 ticks. So these quite large shells are oysters. Pretty sure they're oysters by going on what they look like. You see like they're really layered. These are really quite heavy for shells. You can see as it's grown over time it's got more and more layers. But strangely they're kind of a little bit fragile as well. But probably just because they're layers and they get worn by the sea. As would you if you lived in the sea. Yeah, so this one has lost quite a bit more, but it's kind of quite a bit smaller. Whereas I have these other shells here. These, I'll move these to one side. These, I'm really not exactly sure what they are. They kind of got oyster qualities to them in a way. Maybe they are a different type of oyster in that they're kind of quite flat. These are kind of quite flat. Could be wrong. Maybe just a different type of oyster. Maybe something completely different. Who knows? Obviously lots of people know. If you know about shells, I apologise. It's not my forte. But on to the next group. So these 3 little guys. Didn't really see so many of these around as opposed to other things for whatever reason. These are either common whelk or pelican foot shell. The pictures kind of looked a bit similar where I looked through them, but they look like those kind of shells you'd put up to your ear and try and listen to the sea. Obviously not really listening to the sea, you're listening to some kind of echo, or some people think there's blood in your head. But whatever it is, these are those. Also found, but only one of them, a common limpet. So it kind of looks like a little mountain. Because they live in and they just stick onto things. Once again, using my incredible knowledge of shells and sea creatures there. These 2 I'm really kind of sure what they are. So, welcome to some pod razor shell. And this one is still attached. Barely attached, still attached. As you can see with this one, it's kind of a bit translucent. This one isn't so much. But they're long, thin, like wings or rotor blades or something. As well as these, and this one I'm definitely sure of. This is a common mussel. Not a common mussel like grr mussel, but seafood wise, well, sea creature wise. There's a few of these around. These are kind of nice and shiny on the inside, nice and grey. And strangely, this one where this bit's missing, it looks like it's metal. Obviously not really metal. It's the shell of the creature. Next up. So these, I'm sure, are called Baltic telling because of the way they look, the way they're all kind of very great with lines. I guess they're kind of like trees. Or ogres, because they're made up of layers like onions. Also found these 3. They look same kind of idea, but they're a bit more rough. Couldn't find an exact picture of these, so I think they may be the same thing. Once again, apologies because I don't know a huge amount about shells, but just wanted to show you their pretty shapes and colours and what we found. This lonely little guy, I believe, is called a top shell. Once again, looks like one of those ones you would pop to your ear and try and listen to the sea. Kind of also like half a snail shell in a way. Same kind of way. I'm still finding sand. Sand's everywhere. Once you go somewhere with sand, you keep finding sand for days and days and days. This tiny little group in more ways than one, not just because of their size. Mainly because of the size, because of these three, who are very small. Very, very small indeed. These are common cockles. So that standard kind of shell shape you see with the lines down the side. They do kind of look similar too. If we just pop these to one side. These, kind of similar idea. But the difference is obviously these have got a little tabbed bit at the back. I guess like a hinge. Obviously like a hinge. This one not so much. So these are queen scallops. All different variations of them. Some of them very browny, orange, beige, sandy colours. This one quite black, quite dark grey, quite dark brown on the inside. This one also. But yeah, they go together. Well, not these two, but like this. As some of them are lost, or they don't have the other part of their hinge, like this guy. This grouping is not sure. Not entirely exactly sure what they are. Maybe kinds of limpets, maybe something. Maybe parts of other shells have been worn down a bit. But these lots like they're metallic grey with very shiny insides, kind of goldy edges. They're very pretty. This one's very fleshy colour, but very shiny. Yeah, I think I've shown you all of them. Only one little grouping left. They're not really shells, they're more pebbles and stones, but thought I'd show you the couple that we found of them as well. And here are some pebbles. Some of them more pebbly than others. Some of them, you see there was something else and they've worn down, you can see the inner core. This one really flat. Really flat, really good for skimming, didn't skim it, came back. These, even though you can't really pick it up, the camera doesn't do a bad job. These are really quite bluey green. And this, strangely, a lump of charcoal. It's been washed around for a little bit because it's kind of got some smooth edges, but still charcoal. Well, I hope you liked what I showed you. Kind of unusual little video in that I did try and look up a little bit what these are. Well, not these are stones and pebbles, but not what they physically are, more the seashells. Maybe if we find some more, we'll show you another load, but don't really live near the sea. But see you again soon, okay?